Hi everyone, this is my tutorial video on Excel 2013. This is a follow-up on 10 things you must know in Excel 2010. I've made a previous video showing how to do certain tasks in Excel 2010. Microsoft released a new version of Excel, Excel 2013, and I just want to go over everything pretty much that I had taught in Excel 2010, but this time I want to do it in Excel 2013, plus show you a couple of new things. Microsoft improved the UI user interface of Excel 2013 by adding the whole Metro style to it. So if you take a look at my screen, you'll see that I'm using Windows 8 and I'm using Start 8. I added a Start button to my video. I added a Start button to my Windows operating system because I actually enjoy having a Start button. I'm going to show you a video on how to add a Start button in the future. But for now, let me just jump straight and forward into Excel 2013. So let me just launch up Excel 2013, and you'll see here that I'm using the Consumer Preview Edition. The Preview Edition is distributed for free by Microsoft for a limited time, and it contains exactly the same features as actual Excel will contain in the retail version. You'll see here, just looking at the screen already, things are different. The splash screen which popped up just showed you the preview. When you purchase Excel, it'll tell you just Excel 2013. On the top right, you'll notice that I logged in with my SkyDrive account, which is a brilliant integration by Microsoft, allowing you to save documents and work on them directly in SkyDrive. So you'll see here, I'm not going to work off my SkyDrive, but I'm just going to show you that I connected to my SkyDrive and I was able to pull out documents or create new spreadsheets and add them directly to SkyDrive and work directly off of them or share them or collaborate with other people, making this product a really amazing networking type platform. So this is a really cool feature that they added in here. SkyDrive is integrated throughout Windows 8 and throughout Microsoft Office 2013. So I'm just going to click on a new document and I'm going to quickly open up a blank workbook just like my previous tutorial, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to go over things which I've taught before. So you'll notice quickly that the entire UI looks slightly different, but don't let that fool you because 2013 is very similar to 2010, except they added really nice shortcuts to this software. And I'm going to show you right now what I've went through before with my 2010 version of this tutorial. Well, the first one was the populating values in ascending order. Let me just bubble it and bold it. So populating in ascending order, we discussed that suppose that we have a number in A1 and we want to have a row of numbers. Suppose we're numbering something. If I was to drag that little corner box right here in the corner with the number 1, you'll see that it'll just duplicate the same value down the rows which I'm dragging it on. So if I drag it down to 20, I'll have 21s. But if I put the number 1 here and then the number 2, and I highlight both, now it'll populate it in an order where it'll go in a consecutive order of numbers in ascending order. So 1 and 2 will start populating to 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to drag this down to number 25, to A25, and you'll see that all my numbers have populated. Now I don't have to type in numbers. So suppose that I'm doing something where it requires numbering things and I don't feel like typing numbers 1 through 100, for example. I wouldn't have to do that. So I can always align this if you're worried about the alignment of it. We have our standard buttons here to align it center, left, and right. And I'm going to delete this and I'm going to show you another example where this is useful. Suppose I want to bubble in years, right? Suppose I want to start with 1960 and I want to move all the way from 1960 to 2012. So I'm going to put in 1960 and 1961 and I'm going to drag it down and I'm going to move it forward and you'll see how it starts bubbling in the proper order, which is much better than typing every single thing over and over. So that was explained in my 2010 tutorial. I just wanted to show it quickly and overview it here in this tutorial. Let me move on to the next thing, which is sorting columns, sorting column items. Again, a quick brush up from our previous tutorial. Suppose that we have the numbers here, 1, and then let's put in 3, 2, 5, and 4. As you see, these numbers are not in order. So suppose I have here things next to it, like let's say I have names like John, Jane, Nick, Nicole, and Danielle, for example. and I want to be able to sort them in a specific order. How would I go about doing that? So what I can do is I can just highlight both cells. I can click on Sort and Filter, click on Custom Sort, and now I have a selection, and I can pick Sort by column A, which is the column where my numbers are, and sort them by smallest to largest. And you'll notice not only did it sort the numbers 1 through 5 correctly, but it also sorted um, the items which are next to them. So if 1A and if 1A and 1B is the number 1 in John, you'll see that when I sorted them, John moved up with the number 1 to its proper position. So this is actually very useful. I'm going to undo this, for example, and I'm going to show you. I can sort just by sorting column A without touching the items in column B. And I'll do the same type of custom sort. And Excel will warn me quickly and tell me, hey, you're only selecting a certain range of cells. So if you sort these, none of the cells will be affected. Do you want to expand the selection to sort everything, or do you just want to continue with your current selection? And I'm going to say, okay, I want to work just with column A. Suppose I don't want my names over here to change. So I'm going to click on Sort, and I'll be able to sort this from smallest to largest. And you'll see 1 through 5 is sorted in the correct order, and the names are now unchanged. So just another cool little trick, to understand. Sorting is a very, very nice feature in Excel, and I went over this. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but that's how you sort, and you can sort just about anything. You can sort by cell color, you can sort by font color, and of course values. Moving on to the next thing is working with selections. Remember going over that. Working with selections is a very, very common thing in Excel. It's a very, very simple thing. What is a selection? A selection is a range of what you select. You see, here I'm selecting B through P, or I'm selecting the entire column D, and I can work with only specific selections. So let's go back to our numbers. Let's say I have the numbers 1, 3, 5, 4, and let's say 2. And let's say I only want to sort the selection between 1 and 2. I can just create a selection of only 3 items, which will not affect the items not selected, and I'll be able to sort with them as well. So I'll be able to go to my sort, my custom sort, and I will be able to easily just click OK, and you'll see that 3, 4, 5 are now aligned in order instead of having 3, 5, 4, and the 1 and the 2 are untouched. Now I can also expand my selection from the previous thing I said and go and do a complete sort on the entire row cell, and you'll see 1 through 5 is sorted properly. So that was a quick brush-up overview on sorting. And working with selections, you can always select within a selection. So if you have a really big row of items, you can actually create a selection within that row and select a certain amount of cells that you want to work with. So working with selections is very powerful. You'll find yourself doing this often without even thinking that you're working with selections. But it's a very important thing to do. Removing duplicate values has not changed at all. When you have duplicate values, it's very, very easy to remove them. Again, I'm going to go to my number line here. Suppose I have the numbers 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, and then let's put 1, 5. So I have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, and a 5. Suppose that I'm working with data that could be names of car brands or hotels or places or locations or addresses. In this case, I have numbers, and I don't want these duplicate values in here, and I don't want to spend hours going through a lot of data. You'll see Excel over here has tabs on the ribbon on top, and one of these tabs is the Data tab. And by clicking the Data tab, you'll see that you have the Remove Duplicates button, which was explained in the 2010 version, and it's the same exact feature. You'll just click on Remove Duplicates, and you'll select the column rather, in which duplicates you'd like to remove. And if I click OK, you'll see that 23 dupes were found, and only 6 unique values remain. Those 6 values is 1 through 5. Including a blank, which I left in here. So you'll see here that it completely cleaned up my data and gave me a unique 1 through 5 rather than having the 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, and a 5. Let me delete this series of numbers, and let's move on to the very next thing. The next thing being basic formatting. Again, this is pretty much baby stuff up till number 6, which is the most useful thing in my opinion. But basic formatting, again, this is something everyone pretty much should already be doing or knowing. Suppose I have a word here. I'm just going to type my name in here, and I want to format this. So what is basic formatting? Basic formatting is the style in which you apply to certain text. So basic formatting can be the font, or it could be the size, it could be bolding, it could be italicizing, it could be underlining. It could be also creating a different color or giving it a different background. So suppose I give it a color and a background. And let's say I make it bold. So the reason why knowing formatting works with other things is because suppose that you have, I'm just going to put some random names in here again, John and Jane, and I'm going to format Jane in the same color. I'm just going to say I'm going to make her yellow with a bold font. I'll make her red as well. You'll see here that sorting works with this really well also, because you can just go to Sort, Custom Sort, and you'll be able to say, hey, I want to sort with all the yellows on top. So you can say column A, I want to sort by column A, and I want to sort on cell color, and I want to sort yellows and put them all on top. I can click OK, and you'll see that John moves down while everyone else moves up. What this helps me do is it helps me locate things. Formatting works in conjunction with conditional formatting and basic formatting, where let's say you have a big list of things, and I'm just going to make here, let me just write John 1 and John 2. And again, I'm going to a previous lesson here, and I'm just going to drag these down. And you'll see here that I made John 1 all the way through John 23. And I'm just going to mark a bunch of them yellow as I find them. Now, this could be any data. It doesn't have to be names. It doesn't have to be, it could be anything. It's universal data. And I mark a bunch of them yellow. And now in the future, suppose I have a big array of numbers, or a really big series of numbers. I want to be able to just simply sort this and move all of them up top. I could do the same exact sort over again by going to my sort and filter, custom sort, and then just sort it by yellow on top. And everything I highlighted, John 5, 10, 15, and 20, now moved up along with Elon and Jane. And the rest of the data is safely below. You'll see that the numbers now are missing. You see John 5 is on top, and you'll see my series 3, 4, and then 6, because 5 moved up because of the sort. So that's where formatting comes in, and it's very helpful. Let me clear this as well and move on, jump into the next thing. The next thing is conditional formatting. Now, in Excel 2013, there's a really awesome way of doing this. Previously, let me bold this quickly. Previously, there was a different way of doing this, and it still exists, by the way. Suppose, right, and I used animals last time if I remember correctly. So suppose I have, I'm going to use animals again. I'm just going to type a bunch of animals in here. I'm going to say lion, tiger, zebra, bird, cat, dog, lion, tiger, zebra, bird, cat, and dog. Now, before, if you remember correctly, I told you guys that if you highlight everything or highlight the entire row, you can just click on conditional formatting on the very top. And you'll be able to use the conditional formatting highlight cell rules, and now the top and bottom rules, which I'm going to go over that in a moment. But what is conditional formatting? You're able to format based on certain variables, let's say. Everything has a variable. You have a number, it's either higher or lower than a number, or you have a word that begins with a certain letter, or ends with a certain letter, or contains a certain letter. So I'm just going to stray away from this conditional formatting, because in the new Excel, the 2013 version, you now have something called, and I marked it down here, quick analysis. Now the quick analysis tool is a very, very awesome tool. When you highlight a bunch of cells now, the quick analysis icon will now pop in on the bottom of the highlight. So if I highlight, let's say, just a couple of cells, it'll pop up. But I'm going to highlight all my cells. And I'm going to click on the quick analysis, and you'll see that I'll right away have the option of doing conditional formatting. It's actually built into the menu of quick analysis, having you giving you a shortcut, giving you the ability to quickly do certain things. So let's say I want to quickly see my duplicate value. So I just have to put my mouse on it, and it'll immediately show me all my duplicate values. And in this case, everything is a dupe because I used every single animal twice. Now I can also use text that contains, and I can click on text that contains, and I can say show me lion, and you'll see all the lions will turn red. And I could choose what color they'll turn. I can make it turn yellow or green. So I'm going to type in here zebra. And you'll see that it immediately dynamically turns red and shows me what I'm looking for. Suppose I type in cat or dog, or let's say tiger, you'll see that it will point out and red highlights everything. So this is the same exact technique used when clicking on conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, and then let's say text that contains. And then you get the same menu. But we're going to use a shortcut, and this is really one of the most awesome features I think of this. It'll save you a lot of time. You can highlight certain things. You can click on the quick analysis tool, and you can immediately select text that contains or show me duplicate values. In this case, I highlighted tiger, lion, dog, cat, and bird. You'll see there's no duplicate value. And let me just show you. If I highlight zebra to zebra, and I click on quick analysis, and I click on duplicate, show me duplicate values, you'll see my two zebras will now highlight because I have two of them and everything else is just a single unique value. I can also say show me unique values only, which will eliminate the zebras. And again, these are really powerful tools because you can actually use this to be able to see what data you really have. Suppose you work in an office, you're in a financial district, or you're working for an inventory company, and you're doing some form of inventory for some sort of company, or it could be just about anything. It could be comparing numbers, revenue, and you want to see all the unique numbers you earned, or you want to see all the duplicate values, or you just want to search for a random string in a whole bunch of text. And that is a really beautiful thing. So the quick analysis tool is a really, really cool thing, and you'll see here that you're also able to create charts almost immediately using quick analysis. So let me highlight everything real quick, and I'll click on quick analysis. And I'm going to go to charts, and I'm just going to say create a chart for me, and it's going to show you a chart of how many items I have. You'll see here that I have the word bird twice, the cat twice, but I only have one line in there. From what I've highlighted. So you'll see you can immediately create charts just based on quick analysis. You can also do totals. You can do a total count here. I have one item in each cell, but when I do on count, you'll see that I have 12 animals all listed just by clicking on totals and amount. You can insert a table almost directly, which is a very, very cool thing. Excel will create a table for you right away, and it'll even format it for you using this particular menu, this particular tool, rather. This also works with numbers. Suppose I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. I can highlight everything right away. I can click on Quick Analysis, and I can go to, let's say, totals, and I can just highlight sum, and I'll get the sum of all the numbers, which is 45. I can get the average of these numbers. I can even get the count of how many numbers there are, and the total percent of numbers, the running total, which is pretty much the same as sum for me. And you can have these numbers summed up to the right of the column. So again, this is very, very nice, and it's dynamic. It changes as your data is different. You'll see here that when I highlight words, and I go to quick analysis and I click on totals, you'll see that I only have count available. But when I go over to numbers and I go to quick analysis and I click on the totals, I have much more features. I have average. I can find out the average of these numbers, whatever it is that I highlight, the count, the total, the running total, and of course I can also do the conditional formatting. I can get really good formatting. I could see numbers greater than a certain number. Suppose I want to see all numbers greater than 6, and you'll see 7, 8, 9 are greater than 6, so they're highlighted in red. Suppose I want to see numbers greater than 1. It's pretty much everything except 1 and 0. So these are really cool tools which you can use. And quick analysis is really something I really wanted to touch on in this version of Excel because it does everything Excel 2010 does, except this particular tool, this menu, gives you the option to quickly navigate through your data and perform these various tasks, whether it be math or word math. You can create these little algorithms and see certain things and insert charts almost immediately. You'll see here that I can create multiple charts here based on numbers. You have a number line, you have a scatter chart, you have a cluster chart, and a clustered column chart, which is very common. You can actually have more charts. You can click on the more charts option. You can enter a pie chart or have even more. Excel offers a variety from line, pie, bars, area charts. You can create a stock-based chart and much more. So this is pretty much it for conditional formatting. Again, it is the most powerful and most useful tool in Excel. I use this feature almost daily to conduct my work. Let me move on forward. We have basic math formulas, which is, again, if you want to learn formulas, really, you should, rather than, if you read books, for example, right? Um, the problem with books is they don't hint you back what you want to do. Um, what I like about Excel is that it gives you tooltips and it kind of talks to you and walks you through what you're doing. So I have two numbers here, 1 and 2, and I can go to formulas. And in formulas, you'll see you have an array of formulas here. Math and trigonometry, you have functions, lookup and reference, date and time, text, logical, financial, and of course you recently used formulas as shortcuts if you use certain formulas over time. So I have 1 and 2 here, and I can just go into math and I could do multiple things. And when I put my mouse over every formula, it'll give me a tooltip telling me exactly what the formula does. I have formulas which return integer or whole numbers. I have formulas which return decimal numbers. I can have formulas converting certain things. And what I used in my last example was the sum, which is the very basic thing. I can have basically just type in equal and then sum, and all the formulas will pop up, and I could just create sum of B1 and A1, and you'll see the sum is 3. So I'm not going to touch on this too much. I mean, if you look at the actual formulas tab, right, and you'll see the categories that you have multiple formulas here. Math and trigonometry being the most used when you work with numbers, and then text when you use strings, right? When you want to format things. You have multiple things. Like one of the things I'll show you right now is the proper one, the proper for text. Suppose I have names, right? I copy and pasted names from a website, or I scraped a website, and I have John, Jane, Bob, and well, just John, Jane, and Bob. And there's a nice formula that I use often called proper. So I could say equals proper, and I could say proper of A1. And what proper does is it will capitalize the first letter of every single item in the cell. It'll format things to make it much nicer. So suppose you have John, Jane, and Bob, and you want to capitalize hundreds of names for invitations or for any kind of report that you're doing. The proper formula just does that. So that's a basic text formula. Using the proper. So each and every formula corresponds to its topic, and I do recommend you go to formulas, the formulas tab. You find the topic you like, you just put the mouse over it and just read what it does. It is a very, very neat thing, and helped me learn a lot in Excel just by looking within Excel. So to speak, you could say Excel teaches you to use itself, which is a very cool thing Microsoft did. Concatenating, something I went over in the previous video as well. Suppose I have in here numbers, like I said, 1, 2, no, suppose I have area codes, 555, 555, 555, and then I have phone numbers. I have the phone numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and let me remove that plus in there and give it a dash, and then I have 555, 1, 2, 3, 0, 9, 8, 7. And let's say I want to combine these cells together. And how would I go about doing that? I explained that previously. It's a very, very simple way. You would just type equal. Again, this is a text formula, actually. It exists in that formulas tab. You can type in equal, and just say concatenate, and you'll be able to select, let's say, A1, and then the second cell you want to concatenate, which is B1, and you'll see that what it does is it adds the entire values together, and it'll dynamically change as you change the values. When you drag it down, it applies it to everything. So suppose I add dashes in here, you'll see how the concatenate formula will immediately populate my update. So now my phone numbers, which I just had a bunch of zip codes and a bunch of numbers, became actual phone numbers just by concatenating the cell. So what does the concatenate means? It means to add values from one area into another area into one specific cell, conjoining them together. That also exists in the video. And I will post a link to my 2010 video, which has all of this in it. And 2013 and 2010 are very, very familiar and very, very similar. Let me mark this as red. And then we have our aging formula. Again, I went on this on my previous video. I actually went into great lengths about it, so I'm just going to do it quickly here. Suppose we have a date. Let's say I have, I don't know, let's say put in January 1st, 2012. And then let's say we have, June 1st, 2012. And then let's do November 1st of 2012. And we want to find out how many days from today is the difference between these dates. So it's a very simple formula. I'm just going to type equals today, which is today's date. And I'm going to say today's date minus A1, which contains the date in cell A1. Kind of like the game Battleship. That's how I like to treat, bless you. That's how I like to treat Excel, like a game of Battleship. You have cells, you have rows, and you have columns. And each thing corresponds to the other. So you'll see here, I created a formula saying date equals date, open paren, close paren, minus A1. And you'll see here I have actual date values. And that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to format this, and I'm going to quick format. I'm going to format these cells, and I'm going to choose format them to a number without a decimal. And you'll see here it's been 325 days since January 1st, 2012. Today's date is November 21st. If you go back 325 days ago, it was January 1st. 173 days ago, it was June 1st. And 20 days ago, it was November 1st. Very, very cool formula, and you can actually move this forward. I can move on and create. You see, I'm here, I'm dragging everything out, and I'm going to just draw this formula forward down. And you'll see here it tells me exactly how many days it's been. It's been minus 1 day since the 22nd because the 22nd is until tomorrow. So I have a negative 1. Very, very cool thing to do, especially when you're calculating. I use this to calculate invoice dates to see whenever someone is late on a payment or a certain date doesn't match. You know, I do an array of analysis on dates. One thing I wanted to show you when I spoke about formatting before, I spoke about cosmetic formatting. What I didn't talk about is actual formatting of cells. So when you have, let's say, a zip code, right, and you right click, you see here this attained the formatting of a year. As a matter of fact, it still has the formula here. Let me just totally clear everything out of these cells. Excel remembers everything. So I like to start fresh whenever I do anything new. So suppose I have a zip code in here. Excel doesn't know that this is a zip code until you tell it to. Now, how do you tell Excel when something is actually something, in fact, what you put in? You can right-click a cell or a row, and you can choose to format the cell, and you have an option here. And I'm just going to choose in here Custom, and I'm going to say, no, Special, and I'm going to say this is a zip code. I'm going to click OK, and now Excel will actually treat this value as the zip code 11235. Why is formatting important? Formatting is important because you can actually choose how Excel will treat something. Will it treat it as a general thing? You know, basically any of the above? Will it treat it as a number only or a number with decimals? Let me just quickly put like the number 2. I'll explain what that means. Suppose you have the number 2 in here. You right click this and you click on Format Cells, and you will want to format it to a number with decimal places. You'll see what Excel does. It treats it as a decimal. Suppose I format it to currency. Suppose I'm talking about money here. I could just click on currency, and you'll see now it adds the $sign. So it is very important to format also because you always want to tell Excel what it is that you're doing in order for Excel to best work with you with what it is capable of doing. So you could do multiple things here. You can choose accounting, date, time, percentage. You could choose what type of date format you want, what type of time format you want. Do you want to show the seconds? Do you want to show whether it's PM or AM? You want to show military time maybe, or you want to show it as basic. Maybe you don't want to have a trailing zero. There's multiple things that you can do. And that's what this formatting is about. And I should have spoke about that previously, but I hadn't. So I'm just quickly showing you. And let me go backwards now, and I'm done here. And styling I'm not going to talk about because I pretty much went over it previously instead of going over formatting. Let me just highlight these as done. Now, since my last video, I did have requests from people asking me some assistance. And one of the requested topics was a text row to column. So, you know, to answer that for you, suppose I have here, let's say I have, you know what, it's best to do this like this. Suppose I have here 1, 2, 3, right? And then again I have 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go forward down. I'm going to say 3, 4, 5, and 3, 4, 5. So how do you get these 1, 2, 3s out and 3, 4, 5s out and actually spread out through A, B, C, and D without having to copy 1 and then copy 2 and then copy 3. Well, there's a very easy way. Notice that there's a comma between each thing, and I did highlight in my notes here to explain to you what that means. So the comma is actually the delimiter in this case. Now, what is a delimiter? A delimiter is a separator. What separates something delimits it. So keep that in mind. For example, when you save something as a CSV file, what is a CSV? It's a comma separated file. So what is the delimiter in that particular file? It's a comma. So in here you'll see that it's delimited by comma. You'll see here that when I highlight my cells and I go to data, right, I do have an option here to go text to column. And Excel will ask me if it's delimited. And in this case, it is delimited. There's a comma between each thing. So when I click on next now, I could say, okay, it's not delimited by a tab. It's not delimited by any other character except of a comma. So when I click on comma, you'll see what happens. It gives me a preview of what it's going to do. And I'm just going to click on finish. And you'll see what it did. It took everything and it created different columns for what I had all stuffed in one particular column. It's very useful when you're scraping data. Again, a lot of people that contact me scrape data a lot and work with it. So this is a very, very good thing to know and to have to be able to take data that's all combined together and jumbled in a certain cell. Let's say I have here my name, and I'm just going to put in a comma and then my last name, and then I'm going to go and do a text to column also. Here, let's see, text to column, and I'm going to make it again as delimited by a comma, and I'm going to finish it, and you'll see how it separates it one from the other. Then I can use my proper formula and capitalize both first letter of the first name and last name. Suppose in F I have, let's say I put NYC, and I'm going to put, let's say K in uppercase. I'm going to put in K, and I'm going to say city. I'm going to put in city, K, that, K, never, K, sleeps. So why do I put the K in there? Well, K is my delimiter now. So now if I do text to column, I'm just going to say it's delimited, and I'm going to choose a different character, and I'm going to say it's delimited by K, and I'm going to finish. And you'll see how it separates it. City that never sleeps. Very, very cool thing, and I hope that answers the question. I try to explain it in the email, and it's much easier to see in a video. So now you see how that works. It's a very, very cool feature. Again, exists in both 2007, 2010, and in 2013. I'm getting accustomed to using 2013 already. I can't wait till it actually comes out in retail and I can actually use it at work. I don't happen to use consumer previews too much. So we went over this and actually showed the proper formula, which was another requested topic. Let me just highlight everything and bullet. And another requested topic was the if formula, and I'm just going to quickly touch on that. Suppose I have numbers, and I'm just going to quickly number things. I'm going to say number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, no, this is a bad example. I want to use numbers with 2 digits. So I'm going to use 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90 and 100, let's say. The if formula. So I want to know if certain things are true or false. So the if formula is a really, really cool formula. I could just go here and type. Actually, no, I could just highlight all of these guys. Go to my formulas. Go to logic because it's a logical formula. And I could just say if. And actually, I'm going to do the if formula in column B right next to column A. And I'm going to go to logical, and I'm going to say show me the if formula, and I'm just going to quickly say here if, let's say if A1 is greater than, let's say 50, then say true. Otherwise, say false. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to drag this down a little bit. So is 10 greater than 50? Nope, it's false. Is 20 greater than 50? Nope, false. Is 30 greater than 50? False. Is 40 greater than 50? False. Is 50 greater than 50? That's false as well. But 60 is true. It is greater than 50. And I can drag this forward, and you'll see here what happened. So what is the if formula? What exactly happened here? If returns a true or false, or and actually anything you want. I can make it say a dog or cat based on whether something is greater or equal than. And it's a really cool formula to use when you're working with numbers. Suppose you want to know if in a big array of numbers, is this number greater and less than this, or is this number equal to that? If that's the case, then put text in the next column and tell me, yes it is, no it's not, delivered, undelivered, sold, not sold, on hold, not on hold. Again, so I just quickly wanted to show you that. So what did I really do here? I went in here, I just picked the next column over, I went to my logical formulas, I clicked on the if formula, and it just tells me what is the logical test, what is the condition, what am I testing here, what do I want to check? So I want to check if the stuff in A1 is, let's say, greater than let's say 80, and if it's true, then say sold under 80, and then if it's false, say sold over 80, and I'm going to click OK, and you'll see here, well actually I did this entire formula upside down. This should be over, this should be under, and you'll see what happened here. The item in 10 sold under 80. Everything up to 80 actually sold under 80, and if I move it down forward to 90 and 100, you'll see that these two items over here sold over 80. So that's a really cool way to use the if formula. It's very neat and very useful in Excel. And let me mark that as complete. And we already touched point on quick analysis, and I'm just going to give some final words. I know this tutorial was pretty long, but I'm pretty sure it helped. People have gotten tremendous feedback from my other video. So I'm really happy to help other people. So what did I really touch base on here? The most important thing, everything else is very similar, but the most important thing that we just learned here is the autofill option. Well, I'm sorry, not the autofill option. Autofill is a very, very smart way here of, if I remember, it's like it's a predictive feature of formatting. I'm not even going to touch base on that. That's a whole new topic actually to discuss autofills and other values. And what did we really discuss overall? Oh yeah, the quick analysis. Just remember that this is, if there's any other reason to upgrade to this other than that it's just, it looks nice, it has a nice Metro Feely thing, it just goes together with Windows 8. The quick analysis button right here is golden. It is amazing. And of course the whole file and then save as, and being able to save something as and then save it to SkyDrive, that is the best, because I can save something at home, work on it at work, save it at work, come back at home, work on it again, and never carry a jump drive with me. That is great, and Microsoft has very safe and secure servers, and it all links together into your live account, which is absolutely free. And it's used throughout Microsoft Office. You'll notice that what I was doing here by highlighting and reading things, I'm actually using Word 2013 here, and you'll see I have the same exact features. I'm going to make a video about this also. You know what else in Excel that I was playing with earlier that I really enjoyed? Let's go back real quick. I can actually go in here, click on Insert, and let's say I want to insert a I can insert a screenshot of what I'm looking at, which is very, very cool. I can insert a screenshot or a snapshot. You see, it already took. I can insert a screen clipping. I can actually take a clip of what I'm doing. Like for example, I just cut it in half, but why not? Here, look what happened. It actually inserted the clip of my background. Very, very cool stuff. Very much so worth upgrading. If you're considering buying this, I would say absolutely. It's a really good thing. And it'll help anyone, whether at home or business or students. I just want to thank you guys for watching my video. And I have my previous video, if you want to check it out. It's already up to almost 250,000 views. It's a very, very good video. It's called 10 Things You Must Know About Excel 2010. And I welcome you guys to watch it. And I'll be making a couple more videos. Next video I'm going to make is probably what a lot of people are wondering. I just bought Windows 8 and I have no start button. What do I do? So this is Start 8. It's a very, very cool start button addition to Windows 8. In any event, thank you for watching my video. I truly appreciate it. I hope you learned a couple of things, new things, or brushed up on previous skills you may have had but forgot. New subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Older subscribers, thank you for watching. Thank you again. Have a good night.